and it might let you. Oi. Here we go. We're just waiting on. So we're just waiting on you, Dave, pal. I'm just going to hang up. Right, you should be able to click that link, and it'll. Here we go. Here we. Yes. Right, here we go. Right, awesome. Really? Aye, that'll work. Aye, just click the link I sent you a messenger. So all right, mate. Aye, no worries, no worries. Right. So as per fucking usual, there's always a problem. So as you can see, this is the first time we've ever done a live podcast, and who better to get to do it than Dave Arcari, like, you know. So so let's oh, here we go. Right now.
Hello.
Oh, there we go.
Am I with you?
You're fucking with me.
that was a bit of a clusterfuck in the technical.
Fucking, I know, but I knew that's why I thought, Ken, it's going to be fun, like, yeah, because at the end of the day, man, like, you're. I tell you what gave me the idea. Last night, right, I really enjoyed your show. Me and the wee man watched it. Right, it was phenomenal. Like you've got a great presence, and you know, you put on a great show regardless of whether it's live or digitally. And I wanted to talk about it because it was obviously like a new thing for you. Now you've done a lot of stuff, haven't you? You know, you've done a lot of. Like, I mean, I know you're more technical than me, I suppose, but you know, you've done a lot of. You know, you've done a lot of cool stuff in your life, and to still be
I've
doing.
done a lot of uncool shit as well, man.
I know. I mean, like being late for this was one of them. Like, fuck me, you know. But anyway, I tell you what, I think somebody was keeping score on our swearing, so that'll be fun. So, so like for folk who don't know you, right? Like share some of your experiences so far, because I mean, you've played with Steve Earle and everyone else, eh? So, how different is it having to play online?
Well, it's a weird thing. The live streaming thing, I kind of first became aware of that about, God, it was probably about 4 or 5 years ago when Facebook first announced it, and I discovered it, that you could go live. I was like, hey, this is mental. But I was really only using it as a way to promote things. So I would go live cooking shit. I would go live to tell folk I had a gig coming up, to chat. I would sometimes play a song as part of it. But the problem we had at the time was we're up on the side of Loch Lomond and the internet was shite up here.
Aye.
So we had less than 1 meg of upload speed. So, but I got a new mobile phone just after it started happening, and the live streaming happened, and I noticed that sometimes I could get 2 bars of 4G, and then, but it was flaky. So I realised that if I wanted to actually do a live stream, I was going to have to do it from a phone. I was going to have to do it over data, 4G rather than Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And I was going to have to walk 2 miles up the loch side to a wee pocket of space where there was a better signal. So I would trudge up there with my guitar in the pissing rain and sit in a fucking rock.
No, I've done a few of them recently. Like, I mean, me and Fiona have been away up in the middle of the fucking woods, you know, and with the tripod, the fucking phone, and a resonator, and a fucking hard case. You know what I mean?
But you know, the thing is, at least now, you know, we have that, because the data signal, mobile phone data signals are more reliable, and we've now got brilliant Wi-Fi here. We'll get fibre. So, but at the beginning of lockdown, we still had shit internet, and I hadn't really ever thought about playing a show or playing a gig or thinking of it as a potential income stream. So I, the folk, there's a pub in the village, and the folk that run it got a commercial connection in, which gave them faster internet. and they suggested that they just provide us with a wee bit of internet. So they put a wee dish on our roof and put a sender up on one of their roofs, and behold, we had 10 meg upload speed all of a sudden. So that was the first that I thought, right, I can actually do a show here. And at that point, I hadn't thought about ticketing it. I was just doing it, the PayPal me donations.
Aye. I still do that.
And at that point, Facebook still hadn't really started throttling it. So, I was getting, you'd get 300 or 400 people easy for a show.
Aye.
And the donations were fucking amazing. The level of support from people actually was astounding. But after doing a couple of them, it became apparent to me that there were lots of scammers and fishers and what have you, trying to divert people to give credit card details and all sorts of things.
Aye, it fucks it up for the people who are trying to survive off it.
So we started to think, right, what we need to do here, it needs to be ticketed. That'll maybe help a little bit. And I went through all the experimentation of using Eventbrite and Zoom and porting Zoom into Facebook and using Facebook's own ticketing platform.
Aye.
So we tried, over the last couple of years, I've tried them all, and because I feel that now if you just do a live stream, like if I do a live stream just straight to my page or my profile, not my group, but my page or my profile, now I'm lucky if I get 40 or 50 people, because I don't think Facebook lets people know. In fact, I think Facebook fucking hides it.
I think now, right, so I tell you who's a good person to comment. I don't know if you can see the comments or not, like I can, but so Fiona,
I see her here. Hey, Fiona, how is she? Is she?
she's feeling shite, but I mean, I think she's feeling better. I don't know. She'll maybe tell you in the comments if she bothers her arse.
Fiona, I hope you're feeling better.
She's sharing the show, apparently.
So she has.
Aye, good lassie. That keeps her in the good books.
But it is strange the way it's, the reach and the viewer count has plummeted. I mean, one of the very first live streams I did was at a pal's house down the road, and I went live. I don't think I even announced I was going live. We were making beer, and in between getting the beer machine going, I would play a couple of songs.
Aye.
I think I had something incredible, like within 24 hours, I had a reach of about 60 or 70,000.
Fuck me. That's good. Like, aye, that's absolutely
but
brilliant.
Now you look at the reach of them, and you're lucky to, it is. So really, that told me that the best way ahead to this is always make it ticketed, and use live streaming to casual, informal live streaming to try and promote things. And Fiona feels like an extra from The Walking Dead. Sorry, man. Hopefully you'll feel better tomorrow.
I can't wait to your match fit again.
Have a bit fucking gram.
That's what I told her, by the way. You need to fucking get full of spirits.
Well, that's two of us. We can't both be wrong.
No, absolutely not. I mean, fucking hell. I tell you what, right, I was half pissed last night. See, after watching your after show and all that.
Oh man, I was upset myself. Did I not in that after show bit try to play songs that I didn't know?
Fucking hell, man. Got to the end of it, and I was like to Deacon. So, did you enjoy it, son? He says, "Aye, great." I says, "That's good, because now you're the babysitter." It's quite funny, like. No, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the songs as well.
That's good, man.
Yeah,
this live stream thing, now I do informal, occasional off the cuff live streams to promote things. I do a Monday night live stream that's free, but it's in my Wildcats Facebook group.
Yeah, tailored group, yeah.
And so it's free to join the group, but people have to be on my mailing list to join the group. And so it's just a way of trying to manage it so that it's not people aren't just we've heard this guy a million times, and
I know, actually, I tell you what, I do far too much for fuck all, like, and it's not because I'm thick. It's because I love playing music, and I never really think about it at the time.
Also, the thing is that, I suppose in the grand scheme of things, you're at the start of your journey doing the solo thing and establishing yourself and getting out there.
Uh-huh.
It's like when I started doing this, there was no live streaming and what have you. But I would be out. I was playing 200, 250 shows a year. I mean, they weren't free, but by fuck, I was knocking my pan in. And
I can imagine, like, aye.
ultimately, we weren't really making any money because our expenses were through the roof. And I was playing gigs for, like 150 quid, 200 quid, sometimes two a day, and take my own PA, go into a place, drive 300 miles, set up a PA, play two 45-minute sets, de-rig it, pack the car, travel another 50 miles, set up, PA again, another two 45-minute sets. Then it's fucking 3 o'clock in the morning and you're absolutely cunted, It's, oh, man, But it was important to do it. And I think doing the live streams and doing free live streams, it's, I guess the trick, it's like gigging, it's like everything is, you've got to do a certain amount of this stuff for nothing and get a foothold,
I actually be relevant before you start asking for shit.
Because I sometimes I felt that with the live stuff, and I've got previous for this because every band I've had, we would play gigs where we were getting paid, but free entry gigs. And we would do them for maybe a year, and then I'd be like, right, we've done enough of that. Ticketed gigs only. Now, as soon as you do that, of course, instead of going maybe a pub and getting paid 500 quid and having, lots of people, maybe not all listening, but whatever, you have lots of people and 500 quid. And so we'd go from doing that to going and doing ticketed shows that might have had a couple of hundred people at them. But by the time you paid all the expenses, you were lucky if there was 50 quid profit at the end.
I know, and I tell you, so I mean, for anybody who's listening who's actually a working musician, the other reason I asked you to do this is because when I spoke to you the first time, Fiona's what I know. Fuck you using your beard, and I'm just like happy to get swearing before she showed up and gave me a row for it. But the bottom line is, I know fine well that you're an incredibly intelligent man, right? And you've made a great career out of working hard, right? There's no other way.
Career out of being a one-fingered guitar monkey.
Yeah, I'm not much better, mate, honestly. But
you use more fingers than me all the time, man.
aye, but only for counting. Fuck
I
me,
was just going
honestly.
to say, talking of Fiona and beards, I don't know if Fiona has seen the kind of the new trimmings.
Oh, aye. I'm gonna send her the code for the show tonight if
I
she'll
don't know
watch
if she
it.
approves of the because the beard is kind of wispy compared to what it was like total wizard beard before, but now it's kind of like it's a bit more like just an overgrown goatee or something. I don't know. So I need to know, Fiona, if you approve.
What did I describe it as? I better know. Chin balls and pussy cheeks or something like that. Or something like that.
Just think Velcro.
Aye, oh aye. I wouldn't pay for that. It's a rip off. Oh fuck.
Ouch.
I know. Don't know if it was Sarah, they're ripping it off for the joke. So I tell you what would be quite cool is I really enjoyed playing music broadcast, and I realised that so self belief's been a big part of it for me recently. I mean, I've always kind of struggled to believe I was good enough to do things, and I always worked the hardest in the outfits, and then kind of received the least, or at least I got an equal share for an unequal amount of effort, and then I had watched you for so long as a professional, and thought this motherfucker's got it sorted. Like he knows what he's doing. I mean, I'm not saying you're loaded, but I mean you're surviving, eh? And for me, if you can do what you love and you survive, then that's about as successful as you can really need, eh?
Yeah, I mean that actually, I think that is success. Being able to, but I mean, it's stressful because a lot of the time, not even just the last couple of years have brought the challenges of their own, but even at the best of times, it's still like up and down, man.
Uh,
Sometimes we're like fucking robbing Peter to pay Paul all the time, but we're not in desperate shit. There's people a lot worse off financially than we are. And actually having a wee bit of financial stress is a small price to pay for not having any fucker breathing down your back, you know?
Well, I mean that's recently how I've started to look at it, and I mean I have been hustling like as much as I can and try to make proper connections the world over. Like I've been very humbled, excuse me, by people like um like Larkin Poe and Ray Wiley Hubbard and that taking the time to speak to us.
Now, I really liked your slot with Sugar Rayford.
Oh, did you watch that?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, because we played a festival together in France, probably about 2018, uh, and he was one of the headliners, and he was brilliant. It was
why? He's amazing, eh? He's fucking.
larger than life.
He's so cool though. I mean, like I tell you what, he told me after it. So it's a kind of like this kind of backstage area on the streaming platform, and we were talking away, and he said, Ian, I don't know what it is, man, but when I first spoke to you, I thought I don't know who the fuck this guy is, man, but he's like my brother from another mother. Because I was straight up with him, right? I fucking gave him a hard time about no showing up for my first interview with him. But then then I realised it wasn't his fault. And he was like, mate, just here. He gave me his own email address and I was like, I'll talk to you. Never mind that idiot in the middle. And then we just hit it off like, yeah.
Great.
And sometimes, but I find that though. I mean, this this whole I want to call it community. Like, I mean, me and Fiona started this show because, well, we wanted to still be creatively active and offer a platform to artists in the same time, while enjoying it, and it's kind of worked out for our benefit because we've created a lot of friendship for ourselves, you know, by accident type thing.
Yeah, I hear you. Oh man,
I don't know how the fuck to share this. How did you share that? How's that?
I
What's
think
going
I did.
on?
I'm not very sure.
Oh, okay, wait a minute,
It's
I'm just
not. It's let me share it to my profile. It's not letting me share it to my page.
right. Aye, that'll do me. Like, fucking right. Aye, right, that'll do me.
I've no idea what. That's why it was such a clusterfuck at the beginning, man. I mean, I know my way around your Zoom and fucking Podbean. The only reason I even actually had Podbean in my phone was to listen to your, because I'm never really able to listen to Gaulty and the Gator live on a Friday lunchtime, but I always listen to it back on Podbean when I'm out for a walk as soon after as I can. So that's all I'd ever done was just like listen to your show on it.
We really appreciate that. I mean, like there's been a few people that have stood out, like with supporting us, and I mean, I know that you feel the struggle, a lot of the time, as an artist, so it means a lot that you kind of give us a leg up. And the reason that we've done this, we've been talking about doing a live podcast for ages, like, and I was like, well, if he's got the bollocks to go and do a live thing on fucking Bandcamp, in front of everybody and can sell tickets for it, then it'll no hurt to have him on and we'll just have a blast at doing a live Podbean. And I tell you what, the fucking interface is brilliant. Like, check this out. Sorry, guys, like for anybody who's just listening into my pish, right? But this is amazing. Watch. You know what I mean?
Did you were just able to play
That,
that right
that
into
was me. Aye, that was me. Like, watch this. Watch this. Hilarious. See?
Oh man, I'm gonna have to investigate this stuff. That's cool.
Fuck it, aye, but this is the best part, right? And this is the bit I love the most because this was my original plan before you fucking showed up late. So we can talk over the top of your music. See? That's humour, man. No bad, eh? So I think, aye, because I had this big plan, like but so I mean that's a great platform, and I think it's what, people are lazy, right? People didn't really want to be signing into shit and creating accounts and all that, and they're like, oh, but if I give my email, everybody seems to know technological fucking warfare better than the people doing it there. You know what I mean? So everybody's a skeptic, and oh, I don't want to give my email address in case like they invade our country or something, and it's our fault. Do you know what I mean? No,
Yeah, really.
And then there's the lazy folk who just like, oh, that's too much hassle. Is it on Spotify type thing? Which is half the reason I tried to get it distributed so well, but you know, but it seems to work quite fine. Anyway, one other thing. When are we doing on our show? We need to get a
It's
wee.
funny. I can't remember if I mentioned it last night. I don't think I'm really going to get back to touring until next year. Everything is so nuts with trying to get. See that broadcast show we did together in Glasgow.
Mm,
It's kind of like all the good venues are being blocked. I mean, they've always been block booked by promoters anyway, but it's even worse because all these promoters are trying to squeeze in 2 years worth of missed and rescheduled shows into the next 6 months.
I get you like.
And that's one of the issues, and we're still not. I'm still a bit unclear over the effects Brexit's going to have.
I know. I don't think anybody's worked that out. Not even the fuckers that decided to do it. Honestly.
I'm on the Musicians Union's National Live Performance Committee, and we meet every couple of months, usually in London. But if it's lockdown, they've been Zoom meetings. But
Or Parliament.
it seems to be that if you're like you and I, where you basically just carry your shit with you,
Yes.
we're not going to need carnies or anything like that. If you're starting to ship stuff or use trucking and stuff, it's a real
tricky, aye.
it's going to cause you problems. But there will no doubt be a whole load of even if we don't have travel and entry problems. Because I mean, I've been going to the States for 10, 12 years, and okay, visas and stuff are a pain in the ass and expensive and time consuming, but it's not impossible. So I can't see it being a showstopper, Brexit being a showstopper, other than it being just making things inconvenient and more hassle than it should be. But it could cause us a bit of a fucking tax nightmare.
I can imagine that. Like, I mean,
you can end up paying tax there and tax here, and if there's no international tax treaties, it's oh man, it fucking melts my brain trying to deal with all that shit.
you're a lot sharper than I am with that stuff. Like, I mean, I try and I mean, you're lucky if I pay my bills most weeks. Do you know what I mean? Never mind fucking paying tax. You know what I mean? Fuck that. No, but I mean, but it's how you pay tax and where you pay tax and why you're paying it. You know, it's fucking nuts. Do you know what I mean? Honestly, they'd tax you in shite if they could get away with it. Do you know what I mean?
I'm embarking on my. I'm pretty fastidious about it because I'm for such an independent person. I'm actually quite. If there's something that I can't do anything about, I'm usually quite compliant with it, and so I generally my year ends the 5th of April, and so I usually try. Although I know I've got until the following January or something, but I've usually got my accounts done and my fucking tax return in before the end of April, because I don't want to get hit by something horrible at the last minute and then I've got no money to pay it.
Yeah, I know you mean. Have a meltdown over it, you know.
You know,
So, is there anything you want to still achieve? It's a hard one, because there's that much you get up to.
do you know? I just want to. I want to still be doing this until I fucking pop my clogs. Now that might be next year. It might be when I'm 70. It might be when I'm 80. Fuck knows when it will be. But I want to be. I mean, that's one of the reasons that I think the independent music route is the best. I've got loads of pals that have been in bands that have had strings of top 10 hits and stuff, and people that used to be in famous bands, and others that are in famous bands, but they're basically, they're having great fun, but will they still be doing it in 5 or 10 years? I don't know. They're kind of. I just feel that I want to be in charge of my own destiny. You know, if anybody's going to fuck it up, well, let it be.
It was to be you, eh? I mean,
I don't want to be reliant on anybody or anything. And
it took me a long time to get to that way of thinking, like, but
and I don't know. I mean, maybe do you know what? Margaret thinks I'm OCD and a control freak and stuff, and I don't necessarily think I am. I've got no time for farting about, chasing after gigs and stuff, and somebody else turning around and say they can't do it, or you know, I don't know. I'm just
liability is something that's caused me quite a fair bit of like breaking up. You know what I mean? Like I
grief.
can't. Well, you know, I tell you what it is, right? I talk about this quite openly now. I didn't even give a fuck anymore. They either like it or they don't. The truth's the truth, isn't it? So I mean, like I've actually found myself not working with people because something will be less important to them, but equally as important to me, and it's all right for them to let you down for that thing, but not for something else. And then at what point do you draw a line with that behaviour when you're both equally responsible and only one of you's putting the work in? Do you know what I mean? Like, or you know, or however many people in the band it might be.
Everybody's got to have be on the same wavelength for sure. If it's more important for somebody to be fucking washing their hair or you know, I suppose that's a bit of an old analogy, but you know, if it's top priority for you, it's got to be top priority for everybody else that's involved.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, and I tell you, I think that's why we make this podcast work. I mean, We don't have a lot of. We don't have a massive amount of followers yet, but we've only started in December. Like, yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, we only.
The thing is, I think too many people attach too much. I don't give a. It's not that I don't give a fuck about people, and I don't give a fuck about Spotify. And I love all that, and I love the fact. But you know, it doesn't. I don't look at the numbers ever and think, oh, how come somebody else has got all these monthly listeners and I've only got this, or I've got millions of likes and they've got none. I don't think any of that. Do you know, at the end of the day, the first priority thing that matters is are you enjoying it and having fun, and are you happy?
Aye, we were speaking about this actually. I mean, that's the one thing about. So I mean, like, I played in this place last weekend. A wonderful, yeah. I think you know Colin, down at the ranch. So anyway, I played.
Colin Campbell.
No, Colin Smith.
Colin Smith, yeah. So
Yeah.
Colin Campbell's a Blues Matters guy. Yeah, Colin Smith, yes, I do know him.
Yeah. So I was down at his place, and we've got a new joiner. Hello there, hello. Mind if anybody wants to fucking um anybody wants to ask in, and you can stick it in the comments, and I'll pretend I can read and try and make a noise with it, you know. But so it was a great gig, and you know, I just found it big confidence booster and everything else, and yeah, great place to play, like, yeah.
So, I mean, the stats don't really matter. What matters is, you know, like we just said, enjoying it, having fun, and being happy. And then after that, you know, there's no point in having fucking 300,000 monthly Spotify listeners if you play a gig and you can only get 3 folk in the room. There's all sorts of. I mean, everything matters, but nothing matters.
I know it all plays a tiny wee part in what will happen in the end up, but if you invest too much in it, I think. I mean, there was when we started this, like, it was an illness for me. Like, I was like fucking every day checking, oh, is it growing? And to be fair, right? I mean, obviously, it's at the start, it's quite a healthy way to be to make sure you're doing it right, yeah. But now, I think we're well enough known within the scene to actually. I mean, we had Robert Cray approach us yesterday. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I think, you know,
And the thing is, it's a really small world, because already, you know, looking at the folk that you've interviewed and stuff, and the friends in common and stuff, it's quite a small world. And
frightening, aye.
but that's one of the great things. I mean, I used to manage a lot of bands and stuff and artists, and one of the best bands I ever managed, they were a sort of alt rock band, and absolutely amazing band. But geez, it was so hard because see when you're in a bit of a niche like we are,
Mm-hmm.
you can target the right people, you can find your listeners, you can find your audience, you can it's quite easy to identify your avatar, your publics. But if you're something that's dead universal,
I
you're
know.
just like, well, this could appeal to fucking anybody. How the fuck do I target anybody? How do I reach the right people? Because the right people's fucking everyone.
I
Whereas
know.
we know that, right? These are the channels. These are the folk that share our interests. This is what we believe in. And people that like us believe in the same things that we believe in. And sometimes it's not even a musical thing. It's just, there's, I've got as many fans through things as diverse as barbecue, whiskey, paddleboarding, making pizzas, mountain biking. And it's these personal connections that we can make and identify the people that. So I know that, well, these people maybe normally listen to fucking Barry Manilow.
Oh, a funny fucking story about that. She better put it in the comments, and I'm going to rip a fucking flake off her.
Actually, that reminds me of a story because one of the first ever trips to the States, and it was a very early show on the tour, and there was a band on the bill called the Ditch Runners, who have since become great friends, and all the spin-off bands have become good pals. You're going to see Barry and June, Fiona, for fuck's sake.
I know.
Concord has landed.
Yep. It's over.
But I don't know. It's funny. I remember having a dilemma when I was a teenager. I had a poster of Bob Dylan live at Budokan on my bedroom wall, and I remember looking at it and going, "Fuck, right? What is the difference between Bob Dylan and Barry Manilow?" And it was a really important thought to have because at the end of the day, they're performers, they're singers, they're songwriters, they're musicians. I think Barry Manilow probably plays the nose flute or something. I don't know. But and it's all image and approach, and it was weird. It fucked me up. But anyway, sorry. Back to the Ditch Runners. So we're in this place in in Rhinelander in Wisconsin in the Midwest, and everybody's completely cunted before the gig, absolutely out their box.
Aye, fuck
And
that.
unfortunately, what usually happens is when we go there, everybody thinks, "Oh, David Margaret," because you can't say cunt in the States. It's really
Can
bad.
I say cunt in my house like when Fiona's about?
Well,
I
it's
call
a
her
lot
a
of
crabbit
people
cunt all
really.
the time. I'm a forever calling her a crabbit cunt or a hang or
I
a.
still think of it as mostly a term of endearment.
I know, aye, but she's a good cunt, and that's what matters, eh?
But in the States, it's such a. I mean, it's a real no-no. I mean, even amongst the hardcore, it's a no-no. But we find before we go on tour, people start posting on Facebook, "Hey, great, we can say cunt now. David Margaret are coming." So that's the anyway. So we're up in Rhinelander and we were all cunted, and I had done. Actually, I don't know if you've ever come across a guy called Toby Keith.
Toby Keith.
So
Aye,
he's a
out of
squeaky
country.
clean, very right leaning country.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to say too much against him. I can say a lot against his politics, but as a guy, actually, him and his crew and the way we were treated was absolutely fantastic. I'd been on a UK tour, and the last night of the tour was a Saturday night down in South Wales, somewhere, Swansea or something. And I'd just announced a gig in Edinburgh, I think, a couple of days before. So on the Friday, there'd been quite often you announce a gig and you get quite a lot of people. Can I open for you? Can I? And do you need it? Can I open it? Can I be your guest? Can I? Blah blah. And it's great, but the problem is that a lot of these people don't know the reality, and they think they're going to go to a gig and they're going to play to 1,000 people and stuff. But it's only fucking me. So the chances are they're actually going to draw more. They're better and going to draw more people than I am.
Aye.
But they think it's going to be a great thing to. Anyway, I saw this email come in, and it was something about Edinburgh and something about Toby, somebody or other, and I just skipped past it. anyway, the next morning, Saturday morning, Margaret said, "Oh, did you see the message from so and so, a promoter that we know well, part of Live Nation?" And I said, "No, I didn't see it." Oh, they're wondering if tomorrow night, when we get back to Scotland, can you open for Toby Keith at the Usher Hall in Edinburgh? And I was like, "Well, who the fuck's Toby Keith?" I have no idea. I'd actually thought that email coming in was from some dick called Toby wanting to open a show.
Some chancing bastard trying to
So as it was, it was a great experience. The tour manager, I mean, there was like 5 Pantechnicons that'd been there for 3 days setting up this show. And when I got, I don't know why they wanted me to open the show, but anyway, it certainly wasn't to sell tickets because it was sold out, and it was sold out mostly with Americans who couldn't see Toby Keith in the States because the gigs sell out so fast. So there's 2,500, 3,000 folk there, and I've no idea who the fuck Toby Keith is, and turns out he's a bit right wing and a bit but as an individual, all the people that were involved were amazing. And what was it I was going to say about it? All right, okay, so that was that. Now, also, as you mentioned earlier, played with Steve Earle.
Oh, he's my hero, eh?
The exact opposite, politically, and good guy all round. Absolutely amazing guy. So I go to this gig, and so you played with Steve Earle, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you saw that, great." I said, "I also played a gig with Toby Keith," and they all just they couldn't. It was like me saying I opened for Barry Manilow. If you said you opened for Bruce Springsteen, that would be heroic. But if you say you open for Barry Manilow, you're going to get laughed at the park, probably.
I know, and here's Fiona away to take her knickers in her bag. You know what I mean for the guy. He must be doing something. He must be doing something right. Oh, I'm dead. I know.
But the other thing,
you know how you go. See why old Gaulty's faulty. I'm going to take advantage. I think.
Gaulty's faulty. Hopefully not for long. Then there was another show I remember on. I think it was in that same tour. It was another place I'd never been before. It was in Detroit. There's an area in Detroit called Wyandotte, and I was playing this gig. There's a band over there called the Goddamn Gallows, and one of the guys from Goddamn Gallows, Fish Guts, was opening the show that I was playing. And there's all these folk about with Goddamn Gallows, like cut-offs and everything on. And all these patches, so I must have seen about 7 or 8 of them saying, "Fuck Toby Keith, listen to Wail On."
Oh, brilliant.
That kind of sums up country music, really, because there's so much great country music, but there's also some fucking terrible stuff.
Aye, absolutely. And I think that's across the board. Like, I've been quite roped into a few arguments about blues music, and like what is it, and how should it sound? And I was the biggest argument I think that's kind of relevant now is like blues rock. I mean, if it's blues rock, then fair enough. But if it's rock and you're calling it that to get an extra coverage, then don't fucking bother. There's quite a lot of kind of people either one way or the other about it, like, eh? So I normally just tag somebody into the argument and then watch it escalate,
It's funny. I mean, you look at some of the stuff on Facebook. I mean, there's fucking fights breaking out everywhere.
I know.
Oh, it's hilarious.
I've seen them behind a fucking keyboard, like, but you know what I mean? So I'm gonna try and start it. Me and Fiona spoke about this a while ago, and to give Fiona her fair credit, right? She's a broadcasting genius. It's her that writes the kind of system of doing the shows out. She does a lot of the research on topics that you can't find very readily. It gives us a wee edge, and she's also the one that will sit there and ask questions that nobody would give a fuck to think about. So
like, what'd you put in your beard?
I know, fucking, I know, I never said she was 100%, like, but anyway, but
that was a great question.
it was because she's asked it to every single person now that's had a beard.
Even the folk that don't have beards.
Right, well, Johnny Bergen is one of them, aye.
Johnny Bergen. Oh man.
Aye, but no, he's. I know, aye. Johnny Bergen was Johnny Bergen loved the question. Aye,
Good guy.
she's a class act. If you want, like, she's a great broadcaster. I mean, I only bring the knowledge of the music really, and a few of the a lot of the connections, I suppose. But I mean, she is the genius behind some of the ideas. Like, and one of her ideas was doing a live show from here, like at my other house,
Right.
I think we're going to start that, like, and in fact, I'm pretty sure I asked you a while ago, but you were too busy at the time. Right, can you remember that? Yeah, I know you're a bit older.
I'm not sure. Possibly.
Aye, so it was pretty much the same idea, like, as like you did it. Jeff's and Stirling, same
Oh
idea.
yeah.
But here, but the only difference here is like you can get wasted and play pool. You know, I mean, it's all good, like, from Bannily to cunts. I love it. Mind if you're enjoying the show, my man. Give it a fucking share, instead of calling us cunts, like. But aye, so we'll probably sort something like that out. That'd be quite good fun, I think.
Grand.
That's another wee avenue for yourself as well. Like, I think that if more people had that sense of community, like, the music industry itself would be better off. Like, there's too much competitive mindset with a lot of it, I think.
And there's no. It's a funny thing why anybody would be sort of so protective, because really at the end of the day, everybody's different, and you could take the same song and give it to 5 people, or a venue and give it to 5 people, and the 5 people are all going to do something different with it, and some people are going to like some of them, some people are going to like all of them, some people are going to hate some of it, and it's nothing to do. It's everybody's different. It's no like everybody's trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, aye, and I tell you, the other thing about it is as well. Let's not get away from the fact that, like, I was talking to Sugar Ray about this actually. There's nobody ever been worse off from helping somebody.
No,
Unless it was a fucking junkie or somebody who obviously you shouldn't have been helping. Like, hey, you're probably one of them if you were helping them. If it was that situation, then fair enough. But generally speaking, in this industry, helping people is genuinely the way to go. Like, I mean, that's what we've always done. I mean, me and Fiona have kind of worked hard to put the artist before the show type thing, and so that's why we kind of do the Zoom calls and the ones with the chats. Excuse me, I've had about 2 cans, so I mean, but bagged up. So and then clip it out, and it's all nice, pristine sounding, and and it lets the listeners actually connect with the artist. It's a good premise, like.
I'm just sorry. It's funny that I've just my screensaver woke up on the computer, so I can't really see this on my phone, but I can see it on the computer screen. There's somebody saying, "Good show, boys." It's
I
NNHPGKPQ.
know, fucking usernames, eh? How you meant to tag them in a chat?
Evening, Dave from Martin. But what Martin is this? Martin, you need to tell me which Martin you are, because I know a lot of Martins, and your handle on here is not giving me any fucking clue. MMHPGKPQ. Fuck's sake. I have no idea. Sorry, Martin. I've no fucking idea who you are. You need to give me a bigger clue than that. Give me the first letter of your second name. Oh, yeah, it's okay. I've got you, man. Not for long. Not for long. You're not to happen long. I know who it is. Fucking
Good man.
magic. Hope this is giving you a laugh, man.
I tell you, here. Listen, you're the best. You're the best guy to have on side with starting things like this because, even before we got to work with each other and properly be friends, so to speak, I actually did on Michael Messer's advice, actually reach out to you to get help because I wanted to make the best job I could of the last single, that I released. And he was like, well, you know what, like Dave's a good guy. If he used to work with me, and if you fucking ask him, he'll help you if you're genuine. And he was right enough. It was right enough, eh? He was right enough.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He is. He's a fucking honestly. He's one of my heroes. Like, I mean, he's helped me in ways that you'll never imagine. Um, he takes the time out to speak to me about like my playing or my decisions, and to make sure that I'm not being stupid about because I'm still learning a lot. I mean, I can maybe play in that, but fucking. There's a lot of stuff that in the music business that I'm quite naive about, and I'm
Well,
over.
listen, I think we're destined always to be learning, and because as soon as we get a fucking handle on something, the shit moves. It's like the goalposts move.
Aye, I know. There's always somebody got a better idea that changes all the other good ideas. It's fucking nuts, man. Honestly, it's nuts. And I don't know. Like I just want to survive. I don't want to go back to killing my hands, working a shit job, and I've turned a corner in how I see myself as my voice and my playing ability and my ability to go out and hustle on my own. So
Yeah,
and I think had it not been for people like you and Michael and Fiona and all these other people who are right behind me, had it not been for you guys, like I'd have still have been like feared today stuff because I always thought I needed somebody else. Do you know what I mean?
that's interesting that because in a way, though, there's so many similarities the way we approach things. But my problem has actually possibly been being the exact opposite, thinking I could fucking do it when I couldn't.
Aye.
I
I've
was, what this has probably come up in loads of interviews. People probably heard it a million times, but you know, as soon as I got a guitar when I was like 18 or whatever, I knew the first two. I'd C and E minor, so I could play
like
the first two
fucking
lines of Space Oddity, and I would go down to Trongate in Glasgow and just say, "This is ground control to Major Tom," on repeat, because I knew it was so shite that nobody would stand and stop and listen. It kind of went a bit like it went a bit like ground control to Major Tom, ground control to Major Tom, on fucking repeat, man. And it wasn't as together as that. That wasn't very together, but it wasn't anywhere near as together as that.
Aye, oh fucking hey, listen.
So I was going out trying to play gigs, trying to not really trying to make money. I needed to make some money, but just do you know? I just I kind of I wasn't. I was a bit thick-skinned, and I actually sometimes I probably didn't do myself any favors because I would barge out and do shit before I was really ready.
I think we've all been guilty of that the way. So Fiona, if you're still there, sweetheart, what do you think of this live podcast idea? It's fucking decent, eh? We should do more of these. I think this will catch on, eh? This is quite cool because folk can like say what they think, eh? Do you know
Do
what I
you know
mean?
what I think is good about this? Is it's a bit like we're just having a chat on the phone like we would normally do, but folk are getting to listen in.
I know, and the other cool thing is, funny you played your guitar there, right? I was going to message you, so I bought. Remember at broadcast, I spoke to you about the string gauge you use because
Yes.
I was using 15s or 16s, and I still felt they were a bit.
Pussy assed.
Aye. I used to be a bass player, so wait to hear this, right? This is the gauge that I got for you. You
Are
didn't
you,
get this anywhere else, by the way.
are you liking them?
Oh, amazing! Check it out.
Yeah, man, it's just there's a funny thing though that we have. If I put this guitar down at the back of the room, we have when National launched the signature guitar. One of the things that we wanted to do was, or I was keen to do with the signature guitar, was come up with an instrument. I mean, you'll know yourself that resonators don't really like being retuned.
No, they don't.
They kind of settle into a certain tuning. So I always would have one guitar in open G, one guitar at that point in open C for the last 20 years. Open C, open G. And when National were developing this guitar, we, apart from a lot of the technical things, from a playability point of view, I wanted it to have a guitar that if push came to shove and I could only travel with one instrument, that I could change tunings on it and it would cope with it and stay in tune, and also would sound okay in standard tuning.
Yeah.
I can't quite get it to do a banjo impression yet, but I'm working on it. So one of the things that became very apparent, or two of the things that I was going to have to change from my point of view to be able to help make this work, was rather than playing an open C, was to go up to open D, because going from an open D tuning to an open G tuning isn't a huge amount of changes in tension on the cone. Whereas going from open C was quite low. That was just going to play havoc with everything. And
that'd be quite a big stretching. Aye.
so there was that point, and then also it gets to a point when you're not playing with a bottleneck, that if the strings are too heavy, it just sounds a bit weird. So I've actually we haven't really launched them. We're moving over from the strings that you got to. It's not really a hybrid set, but there's a kind of few allowances. I think that unwound 24, unwound 26 for a third is now down to 24, which is still pretty meaty, but it just makes a difference between being able to ring out in regular tuning. So there's a sort of new packaging and a new that they're working on.
Yeah.
So they're kind of slightly lighter on a couple of the strings, but
I
not
think
much.
I think the funny thing about it, when it comes to playing guitar as well, is I am one of these guys who, because I used to play bass, and kind of conditioned my hands to handle heavier strings, and then play double bass, and then took up slide. It doesn't really feel like a big deal, but later on in playing bass, my bass strings were probably as fucking light as the guitar strings on that resonator are heavy.
Well,
There's
I've got somebody. I think when you were here, you saw the cigar box that one of my online guitar students sent me up. It's brilliant, 3 strings. But a while back, I played the Cigar Box Festival down in Manchester. God, it's probably about 9 or 10 years ago.
Bruno's got a cigar box.
And I said to the guy, I don't play cigar box really. I mean, I'd got a song called Dragonfly that I played in a homemade diddly bow. And then there was a couple of songs I recorded in Finland using somebody else's cigar box. And they're saying, oh, it doesn't matter, just go for it. And Martin's sharing the show and he likes the strings. Thanks, Martin. Unite the clans. Hell yeah.
You're a fucking
So,
legend, man. Thank you. Aye.
so, but what the guy that organised that festival down, I don't know if it's still going, sent me like a 1-string cigar box,
Oh,
and it's got
cool.
fucking huge, big, long neck on it, and it's got a bass G string on it.
Oh, but like C6 Steve used to have one of them, eh?
One big fuck off tuning peg,
Aye.
because he was basically trying to make something that I couldn't break.
Fair
That
enough.
string's still on it.
I tell you, we had a guy actually. Have you ever heard of Fiona? What they called him, if you can remember? The new, the farmers. What are they called? Shit. The guy, the guy actually makes cigar boxes, and he actually made the one that C6 Steve played. He's
Oh, right.
he's from Holland.
Right. I think I've
Henrik
seen that.
Grunhuis or Henrik Grun. He's got a band. I'm sure it's the New fucking something Farmers, New American Farmers, New American Farmers. That's what they're called. They're a Dutch band, and he was one of the first guys we spoke to
Ah.
because he saw me playing a cigar box or some shit like that. 'Cause I used to have a couple actually. I had a banjo made out of an oil can, but I gifted it to my pal because he was choking to kind of play, and I've still not showed him fuck all. So
We got a pal in Nashville that's got one made out of a lobster pot. Not a lobster pot that we would see on the seashore here, not like one of these things with wood and netting, but it's like a big round. I think it's maybe the kind of pots they cook lobster in over there.
all right, okay.
I can't remember what he calls it. It's got a name. And then another guy, the guy in Cannibal Ramblers, has got a putar, which is it's made out of a harpoon. There's some crazy shit over there. And you've probably seen Rev Payton with his various axe guitars and gun guitars and stuff.
Aye, that's right. Aye, I tell you, I'm choking to get him on our show, right? He seems like the nicest guy, right?
They're good people.
Aye. But I tell you what, see the middleman. I don't know about the middleman. I'm not convinced that they are, because it's the same. It's the same people that kind of let us down with Sugar Ray. Do you know what I mean?
I think you just have to keep plugging away. Sometimes
I'm going to. I'm going to. I mean,
protect.
um, I tell you, there's been a few. I obviously can't name drop because I mean it's a profession, eh? But there's been a few of them, like a few of the PR guys and a few of the managers that have been fucking incredible with us. Like, I mean, like really lovely. I mean, like really lovely. I tell you, one guy in particular who I will mention is Bobby Rush. Bobby Rush's manager and PR guy was so sound. He kept us an update. He's like, "Well, we need to change the time because this is happening and we're in this state." He says, "But I'll tell you what, I promise you, when we get to Boston." I says, "We'll do something with you." And when he come on screen, Bobby Rush was apologising and told the guy to fuck off out the room till he had the conversation and that. And ended up playing a few songs on the harmonica and that. It's just lovely people, like, yeah. You
Yeah,
know,
that's good, man.
and I think the community in general, people like yourself who have done a bit and seen a bit of the world and still relatively successful, still trying all the new stuff without worrying about how it makes them look. I mean, you're a professional musician. You put on a great show. My wee boy, fucking, we Deacon loved it right now. Deacon isn't a big fan of um, like everything I do, right? But see when he can relate to something like, so he knew we were playing together in broadcast, so he's like, oh, that's like my dad's pals, like we're going to watch that. And because you got him to be, gave him to be boat opener and that. So he felt like he could get, I'm going to watch this because I kind of know the guy. But he actually sat and watched it because he liked the show as well. That changed, after the first song, it changed him. Do you know what I mean? He was now watching it because of the show and not because of you. Does that make
Good,
sense?
good.
Aye, it was lovely. It was lovely, and I just think it's an important thing. I mean, I quite like the Bandcamp setup, but I honestly, I just want to like no need to go back to work and can do enough stuff to do what I love and not die, start out hungry. Do you know what I
That's
think?
the thing. And some of the stuff, unfortunately, takes a while to actually get an income stream established and flowing. Like you write songs, and it always takes ages before they really start royalties start filtering through and building up. And it starts to over time it starts to all contribute and be important. Whether it be stuff that you've done for TV or film, or songs that you've recorded in albums and stuff that you're playing live. You
I,
know,
I'm I'm desperate to mention a particular film on this podcast, but I don't want to fuck it up for you. So, if you want to mention the film and who you've been doing it with, then by all means.
still can't say.
Well, you know what?
But I did have a
Keep
chat
something up, yeah.
with the producer last week, and it's still in post production. But I'm hoping that when said artist has a major album release later in the year. I think they're probably trying to keep everything under wraps until this album comes, and then it's going to be part of the PR also. And by which time I might be in the fucking cutting room floor.
Aye, maybe, you never know.
But you know what? But from a writing point of view, you know, as much as you can get on, you know, whether you get sync deals and stuff, and they're slow and it's hard to get them, and then you get something comes in, and then you think that's not going to happen, and then you know, a few years later, there's a wee trickle of royalties, and that wee trickle becomes, you know, maybe more of a stream, and in itself, it's probably fuck all. But it's like all your Spotify stuff and all your downloads and streaming royalties. You know, none of them by themselves, in my world anyway, are going to paint the town red. But they all are an important factor. You know, they all, once you start putting them all together, that's, for me anyway, how we managed to weather the storm.
Yeah, and I think that I mean, I don't really want to be giving away my ideas on, you know, on a fucking public live stream, you know, obviously. But I think between the two of us, like myself and Fiona, because she's an incredibly intelligent and incredibly talented writer. She does a good radio show on her own without me, you know. And between the two of us, I think we could probably make it work, no problem, you know, because we both work hard, and it's the first kind of working relationship that I've been part of that we're both putting in the same for the same, you know.
Yeah, it's vital.
Aye, absolutely, and I admire the way you and Margaret do it, and in fact, I said that last night. Sure, on the
Yeah.
after show, like, you two fuckers are the same as us, man. Like, she's like, no, that's not how you do it. you look like you're going to go, shut up, stupid. I was like, fuck, I've been there, like, and vice versa, you know, like.
That after show bit last night was a bit of a riot.
I know. I'm going to send one of the code so she can watch it back. Like, I don't think she was really up for it last night. I think she was a bit fucked. But
oh, good. It was fun.
But listen, I think we should probably let you go and enjoy your life, and I think we'll play it with Preaching Blues because I done this a day. So if you want to fuck off, Dave, that's up to you, my man. But thanks very much for your time.
Well,
And it's been great talking to you, man. That's what it's all about, And like, this is the very first time we've ever done this. And I figured that because Fiona's been feeling a bit under the weather, like, I'll take the hit if it doesn't work out, you know what I mean?
Yeah, just blame me. Fucker, it's his fault.
I know.
Screwed it up.
Your beard's too cool. Your beard's too cool. She'll be like, can it be him? I know his shower routine. Aye, then my fault then, aye. Right, my fault that is. Right, anyway, my man, listen, I'll catch you on the flip side, right? I'm going to stick the song on.
Definitely, we'll catch up soon, man.
Take it easy, man. Bye-bye.
Thanks for having me. Cheers.
The blues, oh, I can like a man. Of this morning, oh, the blues, oh, I can like a man. Blues now, give us your right.
If you think this is a good idea, this live podcast, remember, let us know on the social media or wherever it is you normally talk to us, and we'll be sure to do more because this is good fucking laugh. And I hope the way for it that see we get some love you, man, and thanks for tuning in.
Travel on now, you just can't get up. We ain't never had them, and I hope you never. Oh, the blues ain't nothing but an aching old heart disease. Oh, the blues ain't nothing but an aching old heart disease. Like consumption, killing us all by degrees.